Today is such a beautiful green day. As we can see, the markets are off to a great start. The week has started off really nicely, with green across the board and many coins going up right now, which is always great to see. For example, XRP is up about 4.2%. Let's talk about what's going on and what we can expect. Of course, there's a lot of news to talk about. Just sit back and enjoy the show. So if you look at XRP, it's a surprise $3.08, up 4.2% in USD and 3.3% in Bitcoin. It was able to get back above 180 billion, to be exact, $182. 5 billion in 24-hour trade volume, which was about $5.03 billion. But before I go any further, I want to make it clear that nothing on this channel is meant to be taken as financial advice. While investing in cryptocurrency, you should always be careful and do your own study. This was written by Donald Trump. President Trump says there will be many more days like today, even though the US stock market has already gained more than $1 trillion today. As soon as the market opened, guys, the value of the whole stock market went up by $1 trillion. That alone shows how important this is, and Donald Trump says, "Good day on the stock market." He also says there will be many more days like this. The United States is now richer and better than ever. Thanks for taking the time to read this. Remember that in September, a lot of people were hoping for a possible rate cut. Along with the standard market, the crypto market was also reacting very positively. But keep this in mind, right now, today, the chances of a rate cut in September rose to 90%, and many of these big institutions are now expecting a rate of 25 BPS. That being said, some people say it should be 50 BPS, 75 BPS, or 100%, but we don't know for sure. It makes sense to start with 25 BPS, but 90% of people think that the rate will go down this time. I also believe that time is very important, and we are preparing ourselves. You know exactly what I mean when I say that if this rate cut happens, I think it will be very good for the crypto markets as a whole. Just look at the success of Circle's IPO. It makes a lot of crypto companies want to go public, which could help altcoins become more popular. We're seeing a world shift, which is exactly what your boy Coins Alert has been telling you for a while now. Crypto firms will be taking advantage of this because I think this is going to be a boom, but I don't think it's going to last either. Plus, not all of these companies that go public will be around for a long time. I think they'll definitely take advantage of the hype that's around going public right now. And of course, in a Circle, the kinds of returns that people got from the IPO, like if they bought at the IPO. Boo. This has a lot of people talking, and I think a lot of companies are paying attention, so I'm not surprised. I think more and more crypto firms will go public, but we need to remember that not all of them will be revolutionary. This gives me more hope for what the Ripple IPO will look like. I think it will be the biggest IPO for a crypto firm, even bigger than Coinbase. But once more, that's just my view. Time will tell. Please tell me what you think about this below. However, there is still a lot of desire for Bitcoin. Quantum buildup is going up. OTC supplies are running out. I'm sorry, I meant to say falling. Holders for a long time are still buying. Now, a lot of people forget about these long-term buyers. Yes, before it was whales and maybe a few small businesses that were building up. But now we're talking about asset managers and hedge funds with billions or even trillions of dollars coming on board. Everyone wants to get rich. This helps me understand what you mean when you say that the 4-year trend is no longer in play. From that point of view, this makes me think, maybe the 4-year cycle doesn't exist anymore. As for BTC, 90% of the other coins will still be affected. 98% of the other coins will still be affected. The ones with a lot of usefulness and regulatory compliance might move away from the 4-year cycle. But let's not get too excited about that. I really believe that 98% of the market will still respond to the bear market. Please tell me what you think about what's going on in the comments below. Once more though, these are things we don't want to forget, So, the CFTC is starting a project to look into trading spot crypto assets contracts on exchanges that are controlled by the CFTC and wants to hear from the public. This is in line with the agency's overall crypto attitude. Sorry, Sprint said last week that Caroline Pham, the chair, would be leaving her job. Again, very important things are happening in that area. It's something we talk about. We talk about making rules clear. The thing in question is right here in front of us. Shudder to Smoke says that Ripple will get XRP into the core of banks in the end, through a national bank charter for a special reason. Take a close look. It's interesting that non-depository financial technology companies are rushing to get special purpose national banks from crypto companies that are in the business of banking, from Ripple to Circle to Smart to Bitcoin. SVNB charter in the US, which would let these companies, which are basically crypto companies, blend in with the big guys. Frame banking and going around and using middle banks will give this a stamp of legitimacy over the years of what you say is control. I'm sorry about the regulatory sidelines. I talk too quickly. When I talk too fast, I might miss a few words. Thanks for understanding. Because Coins Alert talks too fast when he's excited, I know a lot of people understand. Thanks to everyone who is patient. But anyway, so let Mr. Man says, the genius act of the Treasury is giving all USD stablecoins a 3-year grace period. At this point, the digital asset service company can't use USD in their stablecoin offering if they don't follow the rules. Our LUDSD is going. In the last picture, I show the architecture structure of the legal model that Ripple used when they asked for their national charter license. We've already talked about this, of course. Things are already starting to go this way. Stablecoins are the most popular right now, and the ones that will last are the ones that have been approved by regulators as clear and safe. Of course, Lose does all of those things. Here's what Paul Atkins says. We will make sure that the next chapter of financial innovation is written right here in America. These are some of the best parts of the movie. You can watch it on Paul Atkins' old account. Take a look at what Stewart says. Chair. Atkins knows that the previous government pushed crypto companies to work in other countries. He is now focusing on making clear, tailored standards and drawing firm lines to stop the SEC from overstepping its bounds over each. I totally agree with that, and it kind of goes back to the question of what kind of incentive they could give to these big companies that want to build in the US when they could still build somewhere else. So I'm pretty sure they're working on something that will give these crypto companies a reason to really do well and make the US capital, which is already beginning to happen. Again, big things are happening that many people don't notice. We don't want to be one of those people. Also, this change comes at a time when business interest in XRP is growing around the world, and this is with the SBI. We're going to go over this to really talk about what's going on. As we already knew, the Ontario Security Commission gave the go-ahead for 2-spot XRP ETF to be launched in Canada in June. The SEC has given the go-ahead for several Bitcoin-only spot ETF to be launched in the US. Now, more than 10 asset managers want to make a similar product for XRP and some other coins. Now, Ripple. As a longtime partner, SBI Japan wants to release a basket ETF that includes XRP and Bitcoin, as well as another product that is linked to BTC and gold. Notably, SBI thinks that the latest moves by Japanese financial service agencies to recognize cryptocurrencies as real money will have an effect on the approval of the ETF. It's not just happening in the US, it's happening all over the world. It's right in front of us. Now, let's talk about what's going on with the price of power. It's doing exactly what we want